Guy comes, falls asleep. First guy comes back, starts beating the crap out of him. My wallet. I don't have your wallet. What are you talking about? Beating him every day. Comes back to the Baal Shem Tov. He says, I understand Gilgulim. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, that guy owed that guy from last Gilgul money. He had to give him. He needed patch from him. So it just always works itself out. If you just sit back and as an observer and watch the whole thing, you can see Gilgulim happening all the time. But the Rebbe over here is talking about a Torah of Gilgulim, which is fascinating, which is talking about the vibrations of our voice. Everything is vibrations, and when we talk, we leave vibrations in the space we spoke. You know, they're picking up sound now from Abe Lincoln. They're going back in there and they're saying, if he spoke in this room, his vibrations are still there, and they're trying to pull back almost voices from other people in there. The Rebbe is talking exactly about that here 250 years ago, where he's saying when somebody leaves vibrations and whatever they're talking, that is a vibration. The next guy walks into the room because when we speak, there's a hevel, he calls it, a mist that comes out. We have to breathe in. In order to talk, we need the breath. We can't talk without breathing. We take in the breath. The beginning of every sound is a breath in. The next part of the sound is when it comes through our vocal cords, through here. So we're going to go, right? That's the next part. Then it hits our palate, then it hits our teeth, then it hits our lips. And that's if you see it, it's all built into the different moitzoyes hapeh. But once it's formalized and the word comes out, that vibration sticks around. The next guy walks in, it hits him like a ton of bricks. And whatever that energy was in your words, in that mist and vibration that came out of your words from your speech, that will affect the next guy that walks into the room because it's still very much there. Similarly, like we always say about a radio, right? If I put a radio right here, right now, and I turn it on, I'll start hearing something. Those sounds are here right now. I'm not drawing in new sounds. I just have a receiver that can hear them. And when I turn the channel, I'm not drawing in new things. That it's receiving the channel that's right here, right now, always. We in our ears can't hear it without this receiver, right? And if you take it a step further, there's picture here, because if you brought an antenna here, you'll start seeing things on your TV that are here also. Which means, so we know there's vibrations here, and we know it's really active. Just turn on a radio, you'll see that it's here. They're broadcasting it out strong from 50,000 amps, as they used to say it in the KTU, 50,000 amps pumping of music. You remember that? Whatever it was. Fallsburg.
Under the pillow.
Under the pillow, 50,000 amps. But it even reached Fallsburg under the pillow, the 50,000 amps. That's the point. They're pumping it out so strong that it hit Fallsburg. That it hit Fallsburg under the pillow.
You just have to tune in.
If you tune in, meaning it's all there. That's what the Rebbe is saying over here. This whole Torah is, the vibrations are there. So if they're pumping 50,000 watts of shtissim, that's hitting you also. It's here. It's not affecting you. This is the idea of Gilgulei Nefashos. When we speak, the voice, when we speak, your nefesh comes out, because in order to speak, you need to breathe, which is your nefesh. Your soul is your oxygen. So your nefesh and your speech is very connected. Like he said, Yatsa nafshi b'dabrei imay, the pasuk says. My nefesh went out when I was speaking. Because through that nasal the cutting of the oisi is that the wave form that's made when I speak. Ki the 5 different moitzais hapeh, right? There's bumf, which are all lips. There's hagat, that's all throat. There's dalan, which is all and these are different dalad lamed tes are all from the teeth. And in Sefer Yitzir, it breaks it all up that way, and where it comes from in the mouth, each one of the letters. There's commission, that's what we're saying. So based on which one of those parts of the mouth you're using to say this word, makin zeh bezeh, they hit each other like a wave. The choytchen ha'oisi is ba'avir, and they create waves in the ear. V'havirin makin zeh bazeh, and then the sound waves hit each other. Ad shemagiyin la'ozen hashemas, till they get to your ear. He's explaining sound waves 250 years ago. A man that was 37 years old, 38 years old when he died, and talking about and grew up in Breslov, in Ukraine, Mezhebish in Ukraine. How did he know these concepts? It was no YouTube to watch and ChatGPT to ask.
Oh, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Concepts from explaining Al Yedei Chita Va'osis Ba'aver Nasa Dibber. And as you create these sound waves in the ear, that is speech. Shamisham Yoitzim Anafashis. But you have to realize if it's spoken from a person and it has.
Where are we?
You have it? No. I'm sorry.
Lamed Aleph after the Vazeh.
We're still in Lamed Aleph? Right here. Opposite, what is that, Memvav? Opposite Memvav, where you see with Vazeh? Yeah, right there. Vazeh. What kind of stuff to do? Because oxygen is the life force of everything. So the word also is based on your breath in, and then you speak it out. So it's the oxygen, your nefesh, your soul is in those words. So when you're putting that out there, your energy, your physical energy is in those vibrations when it hits the next guy. Without ear, you can't breathe. You can't live. And then these, my nefesh, and what he said earlier was, what do we talk about? We talk about our deepest desires. So what's really coming out is my deepest desires are now in this vibration. And that's going to hit the guy that walks in. It's not just the word. It's where the word comes from. What am I talking about? I'm talking about my desires. So my nefesh, my soul, my essence is in my words. And now the next guy walks in and bumps into that. That's energy. I don't vibe with this guy. I don't vibe with that. Not my vibe. That's vibration. What you're saying is vibe is vibration. This vibration doesn't work with me. And sometimes you walk into a room because there was a lot of shtissim spoken there for an hour. You walk in and the vibe is just not. You walk into a situation, you know the vibe, you're not resonating with the vibration, even though nobody's talking now. Nobody has to say a word because you felt. We've all walked into the situation, or sometimes you walk in here in the morning at 5 o'clock, and the guys are jumping, they're vibing here, and you feel it. And you can walk in here when nobody's here and just feel that energy. And that's the idea of going to a tzaddik's cave. When we go to a tzaddik's cave, we understand that his energy is near. We're tapping into that energy that's there, and we're connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with that, within that energy. Because if this is true, obviously, because we know this is true, that's the idea. When we're in proximity with somebody else, we're in his space. There's a halacha that says Daled Amos Shaladim Kindness. If I'm walking in the midbar and I'm within Daled Amos 8 feet of a Rolex watch that I see on the floor, it's mine. How's it yours? It's yours. You have a kinyan in it. It's halakhically yours. Nobody's allowed to come and take it, even though it's hefker. Because my Daled Amos, I expand into my Daled Amos. I don't end at my fingertips. My body doesn't end at my fingertips. We have an armakif. We have a surrounding energy, an aura around us that could be kind of a watch. It's me. And when I can come into your space and you can come into my space, that's our energies blending in a real way. And that's what he's saying. So, Beklal Hadavar. The Rebbe comes to the klal. You want to know what the whole klal of everything I'm saying here is? Everything, the most valuable thing in your life is your desires. To desire for dvarim shebekdusha.
Your wants, not your
Ki
needs.
al yadam nesava nefesh. Because whatever your desire is, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. What do I want? And then Rav Pinson always says, when you really want to do the avodah, go do this and ask yourself, what do I want? And then say, what do you really want? And then say, what do you really, really want? Until you really get down there and you spend some time with yourself and say, what do you really, really want?
What do you really want?
What do I want? Let's take a minute and say, what do I want?
Really,
We don't
what
get a
is it
chance. The Yankees lost, the Yankees
so
won.
No, it's a
I don't
song.
get a chance to ask myself,
is
what
a
do I
song.
want? There's a sale and bingo. What am I doing? They keep us so occupied with such listen that we never ask ourselves the question, what do I really want? And that's the klal hadavar. That's what exactly we're saying here. The klal hadavar is know what your desires are. Because whatever that deepest thing is, and then that gets completed with what you're going to talk about. People that want to move to Eretz Yisrael, talk about moving to Eretz Yisrael. People that want to do shtissim, talk about shtissim. You know, Baruch Hashem, I haven't been in those situations in a while, but recently I've ended up at a wedding with a bunch of guys. Unfortunately, a guy is second marriage, so a lot of very pained people in the crowd. A lot of pain there. And the conversations at the table, unfortunately, because they're in so much pain, is very, 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 very low energy. I remember telling my wife, I haven't been around this energy in so many years, 5, 6 years. Since I felt that, they're talking about this chick and that chick. Who even talks like that anymore? You know what I mean? That whole thing. But that's unfortunately.
Did you see the catalog?
It's coming from a very, 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 very low vibrational place. And then they talk about it. And that stays. And that stays. And the next guy that walks into that comes into his deepest, darkest issues that you walk into. Sometimes the Rasha walks in and the Kedusha hits him because he just walked into a situation. And all of a sudden a Hirat Tshuva is going to hit him. He's not even going to know what hit him. But because he was in the presence of a tzaddik, even if the tzaddik's not even there anymore, but he walked into the tzaddik's energy, that's going to hit him and he's going to get an inspiration and say, hey, have some sort of Hirat Tshuva. Just walking into that energy could switch him all the way around Lamutav. And unfortunately, the same can happen the other way. How many bad things happen because people desire ill?
That's why it's one step in front of the other.
Because a nefesh that's created through evil desires, sometimes can even hit the tzaddik, and you can make the tzaddik do an avesh. Whoa, how powerful our thoughts, our inner desires are. How powerful they are. Yes, have a lashanasa la'aretz. Hevel u'bechinas hevel peh. Sometimes it's a hevel that reaches the tzaddikim. Hevel peh is the mist that comes from your mouth. And because we talk about what we want, that's where the nefesh comes out. And therefore, sometimes the tzaddikim, that the ma'isa of the Rishonim hit them. The vibration from the ill will hits them. When the positive energy hits them, they do. And he says, so sometimes he says sometimes the tzaddik, the Rasha can have a hirin toiv. Sometimes the tzaddik can get affected and unfortunately be affected in the wrong way. He says ulafa'amem, and sometimes hatzaddik misakin hanefesh Rasha miskal galelo. The bad energy comes, he feels it, he transmutates it, and he misaken it to toiv. How? V'chein Rasha mekalkal hanefesh kedoshah shemiskalkal b'sarei chayv. And sometimes the Rasha could be miskalkal the other way. Betchila be'esh shemagia hanefesh al zeh amar hakas yesh shedikim shemagia. Ki b'vad hanefesh lo yihir aveda be'esh shemagia elav nefesh ra. The second this bad energy hits the tzaddik, he has a bad thought. There's no question. There's no way of avoiding that because you just walked into a cesspool.
That's how he transfers.
That's how
he changes it.
The
answer is
afterwards, after it hits him, now he has an ability to either do an avera with it, or to flip it, or to flip it like an Othello piece. Same thing when the Rasha walks into the positive energy, he has the hirir tshuva. Now he can take it this way or not. Same exact thing, both sides of the coin. When it hits him the positive energy, he can go either way at that point. You said Yiskadol today, and we didn't say Tachman, and we blamed it on you. And here we have it, and this is the secret of Tachman. Shekavanas lahalas hanefesh mechinas halayis mayim nukva v'lalas yichud kutchabrichu shchinte. What did we learn this morning? Yichud kutchabrichu shchinte. That's exactly what we learned this morning. The idea of כי על ידי הכסוף והשתקת שסד בכנס הלא יזמיים נוקפים כידוע וזה מעשה נעשה נפש ומסער ונעשה יחד בזיבר. Meaning, there's Kutchabrichu and there's Shchinte. Kutchabrichu, the way we explained it, is the projector that's projecting our life on the screen that's playing out in front of us. The screen itself is just a white screen. You walk into the movie theater before the movie starts, all you'll see is a white screen. There's nothing there. Right? And then 5 minutes later, you're scared, you're crying, you're happy, you're laughing. It's a white screen. It's just being projected whatever's coming from you. So we first project on the screen, and then it plays out our life. So the screen is Shchinte. Kutchabrichu is the projector that's projecting on the screen. The Shchinte is as we're experiencing life. Now, how do I take my experiences in life and recognize and turn to the projector and say, hi, I got you, instead of just focusing on the screen? Because all we do all day is react to things as they come to us, right? We're in the game, right?
Stop reacting.
We're running around, jumping, trying to collect coins, and then jumping, and just not realizing that we are the projectors. We're the ones projecting. That's the Kutchabrichu. When you can turn around, you're talking to somebody else, he goes, oh my God, I have to tell you a crazy story of Hashem. I said, tell me one story that you had today that wasn't Hashem. We get all excited, I have to tell you a crazy Hashem story. Tell me one today that wasn't. Find me one story that you had today that wasn't Hashem. And that's turning around and seeing the projector. And to take it deeper, you realize that the projector is you. That you are the writer and author and director of your entire show. Everything that's being projected, you're also the guy behind the projector. Meaning it's all flowing through our, what we call chagas lehem, our 7 emotions. Chesed, Gvura, Tferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisai. Right? It's all flowing through. That's the lens on the tip of the projector. It's flowing through how my chesed's feeling today. That's how it shows up on the screen, right? If I'm feeling great, everything on the screen's beautiful. If I'm feeling lousy, the screen's lousy. So that projector's flowing through my emotions. It's being projected, that blank screen, the blank screen that has nothing. The world has nothing. It's like the moon that only has from the sun. The moon itself is nothing. It's like the earth that has nothing without the rain. Otherwise it'll be a dead planet like everything else. It needs the Zachar and the Nekeva. There has to be the Mashpia, the masculine and the feminine. You need both of those, and that's the idea of Kutchabrichu and Shchinte. And that's what we're always trying to uplift and turn around from the screen and chop. I'm the projector. It's all projected. Hashem's light is the light that's shining through. That's undifferentiated Orein Soif. That's just clear light. We give it color. we give it color on the screen.
We're the shadow.
We're just more than that. We're the colors,
lens.
the different lenses that we put on it. We're green, we're yellow, we're red. Right? Those are the chesed gvur. How am I feeling is what's being projected. We think it's all happening on the screen, and we go to the screen and we try to make myself smile on the screen 100 times. Why are you so sad, Zish? Why are you so sad, Zish? And we make yourself smile. And you're screaming at the screen, and you take lipstick and you make big thing on the big smile, but you're still not smiling. When you turn around and you're miyached, and you're putting them together, and when we realize we're putting on tefillin, we're putting on talis, and we're saying l'shem yichud kutchabrichu ushkinte liyached shem yudkei bavavkei. That's the idea. Yudkei and bavkei is also kutchabrichu shkinte. Everything, our whole avoid is to make yichudim, to say, oh my God, that's also Hashem. Oh my God, that's all. Let me tell you a crazy story about Hashem. I went to the bathroom today. Crazy Hashem story. Crazy Hashem story. That's turning around and being miyached. So I'm putting on tefillin, I'm taking some random piece of leather, and I'm putting it on my hand, and I'm taking it on my physical body, I'm taking something spiritual. What I'm doing is, I'm taking my shkinte, my body, and I'm taking something spiritual, and I'm tying it on, or I'm wrapping myself in it. What I'm doing is, I'm being miyached, kutchabrichu, the spiritual, with shkinte on me. So anytime I do a mitzvah, anytime I smile to somebody, and he smiles back, you would just miyached, kutchabrichu, shkinte. Because every time you do something that's connecting this person to Hashem, or connecting yourself to Hashem, and saying, I recognize you, I recognize you, I recognize you, I recognize you, I know this is all for me, and I know it's playing out based on my emotions. My emotions are what's playing out on the screen. If I'm in a lousy mood, if I got to fight with my wife and I come in here, everybody's going to piss me off. The screen is the same white screen. Screen is the same white screen every day. It's called Malchus. Malchus is Dalavaniya, less lemigar meklum. It has nothing. Malchus, our experience in life is nothing. It has nothing. It's only what flows in from the other spheres. What flows in from my chesed, how am I feeling in my expansiveness? How am I feeling in my constrictiveness? How am I feeling in my balance? How am I feeling in my pride? How am I feeling in my gratefulness? How am I feeling in my connections? Those are all the Sheva. Those are the seven primordial emotions. That everything flows through, and that's what presents on the screen every day we go to watch the movie. And every day we're the director of that movie. The light is just undifferentiated light. Hashem's light is only undifferentiated. The story, we overlay it, is our life. We overlay a story over everything. I like this, I don't like this. This fits into my thing, this doesn't fit into my thing. That's me judging everything and deciding this is not. Why do we do that? Because we see things as different things. We see things...
Beginning and end. We see it as a beginning and an end.
There's me, and there's you, and there's you, and there's you. And there's the table, and there's the chair. We see things as individuality. But really, we see duality in the world. Everything is dual. There's me, there's you, there's that. But really, we know it's only achdus. We know it's all one. And we know you and me is one. We're just parts of the same thing. We could be two leaves on a tree, but we're still part of the same tree. It's not, there's no differentiation. That's understanding achdus. That's turning everything around and saying there's nothing that's not.
It's resonating with the light.
Part of the thing. Meaning everything is just the Ein Sof. It's just being presented as simcha, as kayim, as meya, but it's all the same light. Undifferentiated light where it starts. It all starts. Then we put our own lens over it. And you watch people watching their movie, and it's funny sometimes. It's sad. You watch people watching their movie, right? You're standing in the movie theater, you're not watching the movie, you're just watching the people watch the movie.
That's why I sit the other way.
You know, sometimes you go on those rides where they put on the goggles and you watch people screaming. You know, when they're wearing the goggles on those rides. And people are scared, right? You're watching people on the ride, literally. The 3D ones. And that's exactly
I never understood that. A scary movie. You're getting ready to be scared. You know you're going to be scared. How are you scared? You know you're going to be scared. Doesn't make any sense. You're going to watch a scary movie.